Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In the last episode with this car, we replaced the clutch. It wasn't how I wanted to do it, and now that I've got this thing running and fully tuned and aligned, you can see it's running just a little bit right now. I can drive this, so I can pull the motor on this one. Can't really, I mean, you can kind of tell from up here if I get out of the light. Maybe. There we go. That's a little bit better. You can see a lot of crud built up from oil, and if you look underneath the car, the whole block's soaked in oil as well. So we're gonna pull this motor and we're gonna completely reseal it because I'm sick of it leaking oil everywhere. Alright, well, we're not very far into this yet. I've been slacking like crazy today. I mean, I've literally got AC condenser, radiator off, and bumper and hood. That's pretty much it. I don't know. The groove ain't flowing yet. But did notice something not so great while I was pulling all of that out. That's supposed to be welded on. And it's not. As you can see over here on this side, it's got, well, it's down underneath, but it's got two spot welds here, and it's also spot welded in here and here. This, let's see, right there. Let's see if I can get around these AC lines. Right there. That's supposed to be welded in. And it's just a hole. So we're gonna have to fix that. Luckily I got back behind all that mess over there, I've got a welder, so I can strip some paint off, throw some weld through primer on, and tack that back into place to hold the radiator and AC condenser solidly again. I didn't know we had that issue because I haven't taken the car this far apart before. I took the transmission out, but I didn't take the front end off when I did that, so yay. Alright, so we're pretty much at the point we can get the motor out. As you saw in the time lapse, put the suspension back together, put the wheels on so that I have more overhead space. Because as you can see, when I did the K24 and the SI, I didn't do that, and I was hitting the ceiling with the engine hoist, cherry picker, or whatever you want to call it. But one thing to note, if you are doing this yourself, is that your power steering is over here, and, well, your power steering reservoir is here. The power steering itself is on the back of the motor as part of the serpentine belt system. So before you lower the car, if you're going to do it like I am, you have to unbolt your power steering from the back of the motor. So now I've got to raise the car back up, unbolt the power steering. That way I'm not disconnecting lines and emptying the system, and then I can finish off undoing the motor mounts and pulling the motor out. So We're gonna get that done real quick, and then we'll get the motor out. We're on the final stretch here. Just make sure everything's out of the way. Alright, I think should be able to rotate her out now. Yeah, there we go. Oh, you got one more. Get rid of this for me. Get out of there. Alright. Here she is. All her leaking and everything. There we go. Feel a little more level. Alright, well, motor is out. Now it's time to get as much off of it as we can that we want to get off, so we can clean it all up, reseal it, and put it back in, because this thing was leaking oil like it was its last day on earth. Motor is out of the car and on the engine stand. I think I mentioned that in the last clip, but I don't remember. It was a couple days ago. I haven't really done anything on this in a little while. It's been a real weird couple of days. I put in a 2-week notice for my job because I got a new job starting at Honda as a service advisor. And instead of letting me finish up my 2 weeks, they just fired me. So I've been dealing with that. I got that on the stand. We did get this box in as well. We got new motor mounts. I believe that is this one. Yep, I believe that one goes there. Could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe it goes to the motor. Or passenger side. New rear mount. That's the driver's side. So that must be the transmission. And we got a new dog bone, wishbone mount, whatever, torque mount, which is that one. So, as you can see with this one, that is supposed to be attached to that. And it's not. So the motor was not very well connected to the car, which made it move a massive amount, which made it feel like it had 0 horsepower. So we have those now for when this is done. You can see there's a lot of gunk over here that we need to clean up all throughout the back. The whole timing cover up here is all just disgusting. Wiring harness all off. I'm probably going to throw the crank pulley back on just to seal this up, not get crap in there, or I may just tape it off, but we're going to get this outside and then use this engine cleaner foaming stuff to clean it up. So we got the motor cleaned up pretty well. As you can see, already taken a lot of stuff off by that. Took the idler pulley off with the tensioner, got the alternator off down there, timing cover, valve cover. But at this point, I'm still waiting on the gasket kit to show up so that I can do a new valve cover gasket. We'll replace the gasket on this VTEC actuator, I believe is what it's called, VTEC solenoid, whatever this is. This is getting a new gasket. That will get a new front main seal. We'll get a new rear main seal for back here, wherever that is, down here somewhere, I think. Yeah, around here. And then the oil pan will come off as well. I'm just not going to do that until later, so it's not dripping oil all over the garage. But it is a lot cleaner. I don't remember if I showed you in the clip before, but this was all caked in oil back here. The timing cover was all caked in oil. That's cleaned up. We spent the last couple hours de-sealantifying these things, whatever you want to call it. So I scraped all the sealant off the valve cover gasket here, all of the, not the valve cover gasket, timing cover. The whole timing cover here, all along the bottom for the oil pan, the bottom of the oil pan itself. So it's going to be, well, now it's time to, there it is. Find what I did with the Honda Bond and reseal this motor and get this back together and this motor fully assembled again, so we can start replacing this ton of junks, this outer half here, with this one, which is a new clutch housing half for the transmission. So we'll have to probably get new axle seals, at least for the passenger side. We'll get it all cleaned up. Once I get it apart, I'll take the half that's still good, get it out, pressure wash, and get it all cleaned up. And I'll have a new one for here. And then I gotta get a new clutch cell too, because you see, that is already smooth, and that's only about 5,000 miles, where it should look a little more like that. So I don't know, we'll get a new clutch. We are getting close. That only took me about an hour and a half to get the oil pan gasket, or the oil pan, the new Honda Bond on it, timing cover, valve cover, all the accessories, and the wiring harness. It was like an hour and a half, so that wasn't too bad. This, though, this is going to be probably a couple hour project, so we're going to get started on that, because that's not going to be fun. Well, here's all the parts I had to take off as I'm kicking tools around the garage, apparently. So that's nice. I got the shift selector here, throwout bearing clutch fork, or the throwout bearing fork, whatever you want to call it. The boot for that, sensor that's on the side of the transmission. I believe that's the reverse sensor, but I could be wrong. Pretty sure that's the reverse sensor. And then just some bracket that holds some of that wiring harness over there. So we are now ready to get all these 12mm bolts out and separate these two cases. So far, not as bad as I thought it would be, but obviously this is just the external stuff. The fun part's going to be getting all the gears and everything into the new clutch bell housing that's right there in that box. We're getting closer. I had to pull the shift selector, spring detents, whatever you want to call them, out of these three holes. There's a drain plug there, or a fill plug there, I'm not sure. Another one here that I took out just in case it needed to be pulled out. And then I think that's, I don't know, this little black sensor right there goes down here on the side of the transmission right there. Pulled that out. So I think we're getting close, but I'll bring you back in if I find anything else that needs to be pulled off before this case can come off. Got the transmission separated, obviously, as you can see. It's kind of a pain doing it by yourself. There's a snap ring. Actually, I can flip this over. Well, there goes a bearing. That's fantastic. There's a snap ring right inside here. You can see it there, that you have to open up while you're trying to pry up on the case itself. Oh, as you can see, that's that's metal. Uh-oh, we might have bigger problems. So that's not good. Well, we'll have to figure out what broke and see where that came from, because that's definitely not good at all. I'm not sure what that's from, but Well, maybe you might need a new transmission. We'll see, but not sure where I left off in the last clip. It's been a couple days. I've been waiting on some parts here, but we got it all disassembled and ready to go back together. Obviously, these look all crusty compared to the new one, but they're 300,000 miles almost and covered in old oil or old transmission fluid. But we got everything we need to get the transmission back together, other than cleaning up that outer case. We got our new XD OEM replacement clutch. Got the countershaft bearing with the oil diverter plate, the main shaft bearing with the oil seal, the magnet, and the axle seal for the new half of the case. These are all the part numbers if you ever need them. Let me flip them all over real quick. You can go ahead and pause there if you ever need any of these part numbers. They're right there. But we're going to start getting this back together. Hopefully we'll have this done tonight, and then tomorrow we can get it back mounted to the motor, and then potentially start to get in the car. But it will be ready this weekend, one way or the other. Not sure where I left off in the last clip. It's been a couple days. I've been waiting on some parts here, but we got it all disassembled and ready to go back together. Obviously, these look all crusty compared to the new one, but they're 300,000 miles almost and covered in old oil or old transmission fluid. But we got everything we need to get the transmission back together, other than cleaning up that outer case. We got our new XD OEM replacement clutch. Got the countershaft bearing with the oil diverter plate, the main shaft bearing with the oil seal, the magnet, and the axle seal for the new half of the case. These are all the part numbers if you ever need them. Let me flip them all over real quick. You can go ahead and pause there if you ever need any of these part numbers. They're right there. But we're going to start getting this back together. Hopefully we'll have this done tonight, and then tomorrow we can get it back mounted to the motor, and then potentially start to get in the car. But it will be ready this weekend, one way or the other. Now, last clip, you saw me starting to put the transmission together. What you didn't see is one of the bearing C's when I was putting it together and punched a hole in the new clutch housing. So we're not using that anymore. I ended up just buying this thing. I got it for like $900 shipped from JDM, Engine Depot, JDM New York, whatever, one of those places. It's an R18A1 out of a Japanese car. Obviously, it's got at most like 65,000 kilometers on it, so roughly 40,000 miles. This is going to get attached to that, and then that is going in there, so we can finally get this car running again. But this video is already going to be long enough, so I'm going to do some magic editing. Get the clutch and flywheel on there. Get this onto the motor, and then the motor into the car. And then I'll bring it back. Transmission's on. Time to get her in the car. And there it is. She's in. Obviously, still have to get AC condenser, radiator, all the lines run, axles, suspension, all of that good stuff put in, hood, bumper, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, the hard part is in, or the hard part is done. I've got all the clutch. Yeah, that's without the rear torque mount. So definitely need that. Slave cylinder is in. I got the ECU all wired up. Most of the wiring, actually all the wiring over here is done. The only thing I have to do on this side is put on the power steering pump and then run the serpentine belt, all the AC lines once I get the condenser on, and then coolant. So we're this close, but also this far away. So next time you see it, it'll be done, and I'll bring you in to fire it up. All right, we're gonna go for the first start. Let's see if this battery has enough power after sitting on the ground for 6 months. So either something is unhooked still, or the battery ain't got enough juice. One of the two. Let me go through and double check all the connections. We'll try again. Grab the battery out of my wife's car real quick. Let's see if this one works. If so, then I know it was just the battery. Double check and make sure I didn't pull the fuel pump. Well, see. Well, maybe we're missing the ground. Maybe two. Apparently I missed some screws in the fuse in here to hold it in, and one of them most definitely looks like a ground. So potentially that was the issue. It wasn't getting anything to the plugs. Which is a good possibility. It makes sense that not having this junction box for the wiring harness grounded would cause some issues. So, let's see if this fixes it. Alright. Those are the only two I see. Let's see what happens. Got fuel now. She's alive. Well, don't mind a little bit of smoke. That's residual from when I was cleaning the motor. It's just burning off the crap that was left on it. Now it helps having all the grounds to all your wiring. You saw that? It's finally up and running again as I'm tripping over all the crap I have on the floor. I haven't picked up yet. I literally just finished putting it together and started her up. So that's going to be the end of this one. In the next video, we got the rest of the bumper on. Get the wheels on. I've already started it where I put this on. I got a couple other little treats sitting over there in some boxes for this thing. But we'll get her all buttoned up here the next couple of days. And then I got to get these things fixed. Luckily, I work at Honda now, and we have a detail shop that can clean this crap up, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll just buy some new ones. That's going to be the end. That's falling. That's going to be the end of this one. See you guys next time. Have a good one.